Welcome back. This week, George is going to talk to us about reports, particular a report that was posted on Slack and Bywater regarding getting a complete list of items and getting the statistics for each of those items, whether they have them or not. So we're going to talk about that and revisit a couple reports that we've done in the past that help glue this all together. I'm Christopher Brandt with the Coeur d'Alene Public Library and the Cooperative Information Network.
And I'm George Williams. I'm the Next Search Catalog Coordinator at Northeast Kansas Library System.
And the environment's a little bit different here today. We're both working from home, so bear with us. But George, you had somebody asking a question out on the Slack channel for Bywater and asking about reports, and we've touched on some of this a little bit in different places, but you're gonna kind of walk us through something and kind of glue those pieces together today.
Yeah, we've talked about subqueries before and left joining subqueries. As a matter of fact, it was earlier this year. It was the first episode of this season, wasn't it, that we talked about? You're looking at your notes.
Episode 501.
So let me talk about what happened, what the message was. It was this morning, Christy from I want to say Cuyahoga. I hope I'm right about that. I hope I'm getting the library right. But anyway, what she posted in the Bywater Reports channel was I'm trying to make a report that lists all the items within an item type. And then she wants to get the statistics from those, from the statistics table that go with those items. But she wants to show all the items, even if there's no data in the statistics table. So immediately when I saw this, my thought was you need a subqueries and a left join. And so she posted a SQL that she had worked on. And then we talked about that at the system administrators koha-US special interest group that met today. We talked about and approaches to how to do it. And so this is what I wrote to answer the question. So I just did this in my system because it doesn't have any patron data, and there's actually some good data in our system that we can do this kind of thing with. But so the first thing that she had in the query that she's got over here in Slack is, she wanted the title, barcode, date accession, date borrowed, issues from items. So issue count, renewal count, is the item on loan, the biblio number, and the item number were all things she wanted out of the items table. Mm-hmm. And so what I wrote was this, and I just wrote it so that it can run with any item type. And the item type I'm going to use for these examples is our wireless internet hotspot. I would not want to try to run this report with books because there are 700,000 items with the book item type in our system. So that would just be a crazy number to try and get that much data from. But, that's what this report does is, this is the first thing when I'm writing subqueries is I write a report, because that's all a subquery is it's a query that you want to get that query right before you move on and turn it into a subquery. So I've got all the columns that she had there, and the way that I'm getting that is, I'm getting the biblio title, and then I'm joining biblio to items, and I'm getting all the data that she had there, and then I'm using alligators to say, show me the that drop down from. So simple. We do this in Koha all the time. Thing that I did is I said, okay, now that I've got the data that I want, coming from the items. Let's look at what data we want from uh, the statistics table. And she specifically said she wanted to get all the data from 2004. So, or not 2004,
24. Yeah.
2024. I don't know why, but I keep seeing 2004 whenever I see 2024.
We did that during the conference with the
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
presentation.
So I wrote this. She specifically said the year, but I wrote it so you can also put a month in there. Or if you put a wild card where it says month, it'll get you the whole year. I'm going to do just 1 month. I'll say October because it's going to be a lot slower if I tell it to run for the whole year. And this will take a second or two to run, and then I'll show you what the SQL looks like. The actual stuff that comes from statistics that she was hoping to find was statistics date time, statistics item number, and a count of how many circs. So that's what I've got here. I've got the item number. I've got the date time, which is the time of the transaction. And if there's multiple, I've got them set to group and concat so that you'll get all of those in one field. And then on the far right, I've got a count. And so that's just, statistics item number, group concat. And I threw the separator in there. And then a count of date times is a good way to count circulation from that table. And then I'm only looking at statistics where it's an issue or a renew. And I'm looking at the year and the month. So pretty simple also. And so what we've got is we've got all of the stuff that we need to get from one side is going to be one subquery. All the item information is going to be one subquery. And then all the statistical information will be another subquery. So all we need to do is put them all together. And that's what this one does. So I'm going to run this for computers and internet wireless hotspot 2024. And we'll just do October again. So we're not doing a whole year's worth of data just because it's going to run faster. But this will, even though it's going to run faster than if we did the whole year, it's still going to take a minute because it's a lot of data. The reason that I wouldn't want to run this on books is, we've got 163 hotspots in our system. And even that took a minute to run. So here we've got all of the stuff from the first query. And then we've got the group concat date time and the count.
Thanks.
And if there are things that haven't circulated, like this is a ZenPad tablet. So I don't know why it's got a Wi-Fi internet hotspot. Item type, that's probably an issue that need to be addressed. But these two haven't circulated, but I've still got data from the statistics table there, which is what they wanted. So I could blow this out to get all of them. But the way that it works, the way that it goes together is I've got that first query there is subquery 1. And the second report is that subquery there. So what we're doing is we're really just saying we're creating a table just out of a query, and we're calling it item subquery. And I'm calling this one annual statistics. So none of the data up here, like all of this, I'm getting the title barcode, all of this stuff is coming from the item subquery. And all of this is coming from the second subquery, which I called annual statistics.
The one thing that's a little obscure for me, which I had to look over my notes when we talked about this in episode 501, because I had asked about something of this nature back then, and the one thing that threw me that I had to wrap my head around was when you're left joining those subqueries, your select statement has to have whatever element you're going to join to. Um,
Right,
otherwise, it can't join. And even though I'm not necessarily displaying that information in the end results, what it's being joined to, it has to be there. Um,
right,
so whatever you're joining to and whatever you're going to refer to from that join has to be in that select.
right. And the left join is right here. Oh, I lost it. Right there. So I'm left joining this query to this query, and I'm joining them on item number from annual statistics, which is right there, to item subquery item number, which is right there, essentially. Here it's called items item number, but when the subquery builds the table it's building, it's going to become uh, item subquery dot items item number, and the item number that's here, statistics item number, is going to become annual statistics item number, and that's where they're going to left join
I guess
on these two things.
the important thing to remember when you're doing this is, the subquery that you're joining to, think of it as, the results are becoming its own little mini table that you're joining.
Yeah,
So as long as you can keep that straight, then it isn't too difficult. It's just, there's a lot of stuff in there to build that subquery, but it's really, really handy, really, really nice. Um, Now, for those of you that are, exporting this and you're expecting there to be something instead of a blank field,
yeah,
uh, we had back in way, way back, and I think we've talked about it since, but the original time that we talked about this was episode 109. So first season, episode 9, we talked about Coalesce.
right. So right now, this device didn't circulate in October, and so there's just a blank space there. But if we wanted a number there, if we didn't want that to be a blank space, we could go back and edit this and say if the item count, we could do coalesce, Coalesce, coalesce that count with 0. And then if we update and run 2024, there's a bunch of ways we could improve this. Definitely, this is it'll get the job done. But one of the ways that we could improve it is we could add the coalesce there so that we get a digit instead of just a blank space. I could also, in my system, I have an authorized value for year. So every year I just add the new year to that. So we could have that be for year be a drop down instead of just a text box to enter data in. But now that we've coalesced that, where there is data, it'll now have a 0 instead of a blank space.
Right.
But one of the other things I'm noticing here is that this group concat date time, those aren't in order. And we could order those by adding order clause to the group concat, which is, yeah, it's right here. So there's a way, if when you do a group concat, I'm adding a separator, which is that / and a line break for the HTML. But if we do order by order by, I guess we need to do order by and then the field name. This should put them in order from newest to oldest. Or it could be a mistake. I bet I know what happened. I got them in the wrong order. Where is that? I bet separator comes after order in the group concat syntax. Yeah, I think that's going to work because it didn't just immediately error out that time. But that should put those in order in date order from the newest date to the oldest date. Or you could do group order by ASC would order them from the oldest to newest. So yeah, that puts them in before the one on the 7th was appearing in the middle. So that puts them in order from the newest one down. So there's a bunch of different ways this could be modified too. And now that I modified it, I'll actually re-update it in Slack for Christy if she wants to get it nicened up a little bit. Then I'll also post this on the Koha Wiki.
All right.
So that other people can enjoy it.
Well, if you want to learn more about reports, we've got plenty of videos in our library to check out, including episodes 501 and 109. So feel free to check those out. If you have questions, throw them our way, or you put them out on Mattermost or even the Bywater Slack channel. They're a good group to ask questions. And always we have our SIG groups, special interest groups that you can come and join. But one way or another, there are people out there to ask questions. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions or get stuck with any of this. So
particularly, if you have questions about reports, that's one of the things that the koha-US System Administrators Special Interest Group discusses, and that we met today, which is the third Tuesday of the month, because we're recording this in advance. We don't do these live.
All right. Well, George, thank you for sharing, and we hope that helps those of you out there with questions on SubQueries and Coalesce, and we hope to see you folks again in 2 weeks.
Yep, we'll see you later.